Hey guys, Neo here. Today is the day where Stormgate is revealing gameplay, and we are watching this here right now. Stormgate is a new RTS game that's coming out somewhat in the future. It's getting into a test phase soon, and as we said today, they released the first actual footage outside of a cinematic trailer and some pictures that were posted before. Why is this hype? Because the people behind the game are pretty capable. They worked on StarCraft and Warcraft before and are trying to do a little mix with a unique and modern spin, because the games that we play right now, StarCraft 2 and Warcraft 3, are 10 to 20 years old, and the RTS genre needs new technology, needs new games, needs new influence, and Stormgate is aspiring to be just that. We'll take a look at the trailer that they've released today during the PC Gaming Show. I'll try to stop as little as possible during the initial view and then go into this in a little more detail, but here is Stormgate. All right, gotta stop already. First impression, graphics, cartoony. Definitely cartoony. In a MOBA equivalent, this is more League of Legends than it is Dota. I don't really hate cartoony looks. I like the cartoony look of Warcraft, for example. It's not a turnoff for me. I can see that it could be a little too much for other people though. What I like: player color, easily distinguishable, pops off. That's a lot of action. Lots of effects. Look at a dog rush on the right hand side. A lot of exploding stuff on the left hand side. Okay, this is overwhelming. We have to watch this in a bit again. Seems like we have only the human race here so far. So wow, this was overwhelming. Human resistance is what this is called. We have a lot of units here. We have little gunners, which are basically marines of StarCraft, I would say. We got some healers here, and we got big mech army, but we'll analyze them down the road. We also saw a few dogs, with even gore, like we have blood there. So just because it's cartoony doesn't necessarily mean that this is childish as well.
Hi guys, this is TLO. Obviously played RTS my entire life, so it's been a real privilege for me to be one of the first people to try out Stormgate. Really stoked about this match against Kevin. Think I'm gonna do some light harass in the early game and then just try to overwhelm him with a massive amount of macro.
Very famous StarCraft 2 player TLO right there, playing against a friend of the stream, Kevin. Buildings. I like. It seems a little cramped up in the base on first view. Building animation, which is like a little bit of like 3D printing. Very cool. 2 resources as well. One on the upper right, which is more like a gold mine, and then hovering stuff on the left hand side. Dog is literally called Scout, so this is what it is. And can be repaired.
Hi, my name is Kevin Monkdong, and I work on gameplay and balance on Stormgate. Today I'll be trying a fast expansion build, and then I'll try to tech to higher tier units to defend whatever TLO throws at me.
Okay. A couple of things. I want to move back a little bit. Let's take a look at the bottom. We have the game timer, resources, food, all moved down from top to bottom. And the keyword part of the key of the hotkeys are seemingly a pretty cool feature. With Q, you can order a building to be built, like a structure to be built. With W, you can access the army that's supposed to be built, and then probably upgrades as well, so you don't have to select that building anymore, but can rather order a technology unit or a building via hotkeys. That is nice to have. Second cool thing
Today, I'll be trying a fast expansion build, and then I'll try to tech to higher tier units to defend whatever TLO throws at me.
Small units can walk through terrain, like through these trees. That can be very interesting. As you can see, these units can pass. What we see here, power building, just like human in Warcraft 3. Issue here, Lancers and Gunners, like this at the front, Lancers, more or less melee unit, and Gunners range unit, look pretty similar to each other. Alright, here comes the heavy attack unit. Clears this up.
He did a lot of worker damage there, so I'm at a pretty bad economic disadvantage. I'm gonna have to try some really sneaky tactics. Maybe
the big units can't go through the trees.
There, so I'm at a pretty bad economic disadvantage. I'm gonna have to try some really sneaky tactics. Maybe getting an upgrade TLO isn't familiar with. Perhaps, maybe even luckily creepjacking him.
So some Zeppelin action. What we see here. Creep camp. There's a chicken with a Viking helm. If you kill it, it gives you a reward. So yeah, creep camps and creep jacks are part of Stormgate. The dash ability for a stun. Zeppelin micro. Nice pickup. This shot of what we formerly thought was a siege tank takes quite some time. So there is definitely the potential for counterplay, to dodge attacks, and for trick shots maybe.
Looking forward to hopefully dealing the finishing blow against Kevin here. I'll attack again from the right side.
Zeppelin micro and also stutter stepping looks pretty solid.
Looking forward to hopefully dealing the finishing blow against Kevin here. I'll attack again from the right side through the light trees, but this time we'll bring in a larger force from the left side as well. And I think I'll be able to out-micro him here. He has a more static mech army, I believe, and my bio unit should be able to...
That's nice.
All the tech shots, get in there, and have a pretty smooth path of attack here.
So you can destroy terrain as well. This is probably the most unique aspect to a game that I've seen so far. When before everything was kind of inspired by something else. The way units can work with terrain or getting stopped by terrain is intriguing. GG. Stormgate, we're just getting started. All right. Let's take a look at it again and see if we can pick up a few more details maybe of what's going on. So I wonder if we may believe that this is a full maxed out army. We have a couple of different units here. The ones on the left have two modes where they can move and where they are deployed. When they can move, they have a little bit of a Gatling gun. If they are deployed, they shoot this energy balls that take some time to load. We got healers that also have a debuff and a purge ability. We got lancers on the left hand side that is more like the melee unit that can also soak up damage later, as Monk told us. So we take a look at the left hand side. In this fight with a lot of the Atlas shots, there's a lot going on. There's also this blue stuff on the ground now that deals a little bit of damage. So this is pretty much like burning oil in Warcraft 3. I feel like this is a little heavy on the effects for readability. This could get messy in even bigger fights. Time to kill. I'm made to believe that this energy ball here is a pretty big attack. Of course, we don't know anything about armor types and attack types, but fights last a while. It's not like StarCraft where if you don't look, your army is dead. You can react, you can move out of the way. You see the red circles where you can move out of, just like in an ARPG or MMO, basically. So there is time to counter stuff like this. And units in general stay alive for a lot longer, plus they can get healed, plus they can get repaired by workers, as we've seen. So this unit is interesting. I really don't know what it is. It has small attacks and maybe does something else. I don't know. Let's watch this again and pay attention to the upper right once this comes into play. It feels like deployment is very fast, by the way. So, right-hand side. As you can see, there's like 3 seconds to react to the shot to move out of the way. No blood on the doggies as they are mechanical, apparently. We have a little bit of a... This looks like a Zergling rush, to be honest. I mean, Mass Scout is probably a cheese strat already. There is friendly fire. So confirmed from this, friendly fire is a thing. Area of effect is a thing. Dodging shots is a thing. Scouts are a thing. So I assume you just start with it, because it was in the very early, or it might just be next, after the TLO interview thing.
It's been
there we go.
a real privilege for me to be one of the first people to try out Stormgate. We overwhelmed them with a massive...
Where is it? Here, we are at 1 minute 46 and a scout is already arriving. This leads me to believe that you can either build the scout immediately and it has a very low time to build, or you get one at the beginning of the game, so you have a scout unit so you don't have to use your workers. That is cool. Let's take a look back at the base. 2 different sorts of resources. Monk told us this in the deep dive interview. The one in the upper right is your main resource that everything costs this resource. The one on the left-hand side is more like Tiberium. In Command & Conquer, for example, you can also see these patches on the mini-map. There's more of a tech resource and it grows back after a while.
Be one of the first people to try out Stormgate. Really stoked about this match against Kevin.
So,
I think I'm gonna do some light harass in the early game and then just
this
try to
requires another building to be harvested. You can't just send workers to this field. It needs a refinery of sorts.
with a massive amount of macro.
This animation is really good. The printing animation for the building is really good. Requires a worker to build one. And yeah, this is the Rex that produces the first Lancer, I believe. There we have it.
Hi, my name is Kevin Monkdong, and I work on gameplay and balance on Stormgate.
The scouts also have an ability that might
fast expansion build, and
have
then
to be
I'll try
researched.
To higher tier units.
Yeah, as I said, this power build is cool. Here, really a problem. What's a Lancer, what's a Gunner? From this screenshot alone, pretty similar. Maybe the design is not finished yet and something will be put over there, but the armor is kind of similar. The color of lance and gun is pretty similar, and also the size is pretty similar. So a game that really wants to be readable, I think has to work a little bit on that. Okay, these are production buildings for the big Vulcan Gatling gun units. You can see the fight lasts quite a bit, even though this is just worker units basically.
He did a lot of worker
There was also
there,
2,
so
3, 4 seconds to
economic
react to
disadvantage.
this.
I'm gonna have to try some really sneaky tactics.
And then you can be sneaky, as you say, and retreat behind the forest, wait until your opponent is gone again, try to attack once more. By the way, this Gatling gun, pretty bland. I'm pretty sure not finished yet.
There, so I'm in a pretty bad economic decision TLO isn't familiar with. Perhaps, maybe even luckily creepjacking him.
These creep camps were explained to us by Kevin in our deep dive interview that you should watch. Creeps are on the map. The drop of theirs is predetermined. And as we can see here, apparently the drop is always there. So you know what you're fighting about. I don't know if it gets unlocked if you lasted the creep or something. Creeps also give resources that we can see at the end of this fight. Love the dash ability, by the way. If you hit an enemy unit with this dash, it will be stunned, so you can't charge through an army. You can charge back through your own units, I believe, but if you hit an enemy unit, it will be stunned. Sound pretty good, by the way. Here's the resources that you got for the last hit. And again, time to react. Time to kill feels good. Feels better than StarCraft, feels not as extreme as Warcraft.
He has a more static mech on.
Wonder what this is? Not too sure. This glowing stuff at the on the ground.
I believe, and my bio unit should be able to touch all the tech shots, get in there, and have a pretty smooth path of tech here.
Alright, and here's another fight once again, where the game is about to be over. So, what are the first impressions? I'm not distracted or anything by the cartoony look. I think this can be good. That being said, it says pre-alpha playtest. So the words alpha, beta, pre, etc. are a little loose in the gaming industry. The game is supposed to come out next year, I believe. The big testing phase is starting soon, and if you call it alpha or beta, it doesn't really make a difference. So just because it says pre-alpha, you shouldn't compare it with an alpha of StarCraft 2 or Warcraft 3. This is just a name convention. So I think it looks pretty good. I gotta say, this is a good start. Games develop over time a lot. It is a solid foundation. At the moment, the one that excites me is how you can work with terrain, and that there's a lot to do on the map to claim resources and to get these creep camps that will come back after time, unlike in Warcraft 3. What's not too exciting for me is the design of the human faction. It's very StarCrafty. I don't see that much originality in that faction design, but there are more factions confirmed, at least 2, maybe even more. The second race is more of a Zerg, Diablo, demonic kind of race. So I hope we'll see different stuff from technology that we see here in there. And that's my first impression so far. When I look at the Zeppelin micro, it looks like it's very responsive, very snappy. This is also what everybody said who played the game so far. Whether it's Grubby in his video or whoever played the games before, we had some videos on that. That's the main feature of the game apparently, how good it feels. This is of course something that I can't judge. From the looks are okay. It's nothing that blows me away. Readability, in my opinion, can still be improved. Even though this is supposed to be one of the big features, I think the colors of the units are fine. You can easily distinguish what's red, what's blue, for example. But with the effects and everything, fights can get quite messy, as you will see here soon on the left-hand side, when all these effects are in, plus the green, plus the red, plus the healing effects, plus another explosion. This might just be a little bit too much. Pathing seems to be okay. Time to kill, as I said, I like that a lot. I, as a Warcraft fan, obviously want some micro in my fights. What also excites me and this is, I think, something Loco or Harstem said as well, if you have your production via hotkey, you don't have to spend so much time circling through your buildings to find the right button. You have everything at your fingertips and you can focus a little more on that fight. So hopefully we have more skill towards actual combat and not just macro, which is, I think, for all of us quite exciting. Because macro and research and economy always feels like work when the actual fun is fighting. So I think they're in a good way, depending on when this is supposed to come out. And this is also a build that is outdated by 2 or 3 months roundabout. So I think we can work on this. We can get excited, but we don't have to. That would be my feedback. I am excited for more. I want to follow the journey quite a bit, as from all the RTS out there, this excites me a lot more than Age of Empires 4 did, and pretty much every other RTS that is on Steam. So good luck, Frost Giant. I hope you continue to develop this game and you can create what you want to achieve, because you set yourself high goals, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. See you next time for more Stormgate content.